Hey, and we're back with the next lesson. This next document we're going to be covering is what we call the flex option. You can use this when you're co-wholesaling or wholesaling or flipping a lease option or flipping a subject to. You can use it for pretty much anything. It's a very simple one-page document. It's basically an option. So it gives you a lot of flexibility without locking you in. So you're not committing with any kind of big earnest money, but it gives you the flexibility to go ahead and shop it around if you need to. So I really, really like this document. I like the versatility of it. So it's definitely something you want to have in your arsenal to use. It's pretty straightforward. It's an option to purchase real property agreement. You have the date up here on the top, and it reads, this option agreement is entered into between the parties, optioner or optionees, below in consideration of and subject to the following terms and conditions. Now the parties, now basically either you and your partner or your company, you're going to put in this first line and or assigns as optionee, and the seller is as the optionor. And the property address is listed under number 2. The offer under number 3. The optionee has option to buy the property, and whatever your agreed upon price, you're going to put in this blank. It gives you under number 4 a period of 14 days. If you need to change that, you can always adjust it if you need to. However, if it's a really good deal, you shouldn't have a problem optioning it within 2 weeks. But you can always make adjustments if you need to. Now, under number 5, it's listing the provisions. The optioner understands that the optionee intention is to find an end buyer and assign this option agreement to that end buyer for a fee, which is paid by the end buyer. Optioner understands that optionee is acting as a principal in the transaction, is not working as a licensed real estate broker representing anyone in the transaction. So it's basically you're stating that, hey, you are a middle person in this transaction. However, you're a principal. You're not acting as an agent or a broker. Upon optionee decision to exercise this option, both parties agree to move forward with the necessary standard purchase and sale agreement. So basically this precedes the standard purchase and sale agreement. The optioner may cancel this agreement at any time if they find their own buyer or tenant or decide not to sell. So this gives a lot of flexibility to the seller as well. They may decide to take it off the property. They may decide that they want to sell it to somebody else, or actually they have a contract with another buyer. So obviously that would nullify this agreement. So it doesn't lock in your seller. So if there's any kind of hesitation on their part, this is definitely something you want to use in lieu of a standard purchase and sale agreement to go ahead and test the waters to make sure that their price or the price you've agreed upon is in line with what the market will bear. The optioner agrees to allow optionee to put on a lockbox if there is not one and advertise the property for sale. If optionee does not acquire an end buyer to assign this deal to within 14 days of acceptance of this option agreement, the agreement becomes null and void. All parties agree that the property is being sold in as-in condition unless noted otherwise. Time is of the essence in this agreement. So basically, stating that you do have a 14-day window to go ahead and get this thing signed. It's a great way for if you are unsure about a property, as far as, feel that it may be priced a little high, but you want to go ahead and try it anyway. If the seller or wholesaler is a little apprehensive about locking up a property because they feel they may have somebody else as well. So it's a win-win. It gives you the opportunity to go ahead and market the property for sale. Test the waters. And if everything works out well, go ahead and get it sold, following it up with a standard purchase and sale agreement and making your money off the top. Now, You'll notice here in section 6, if there's any additional stipulations, they can be outlined here. There is a signature line for the optionee, yourself and or your partner or your company, and the date. Underneath that, you have the optioner, their signature and date. Whether it's two people, there's two separate signatures. Typically what I like to do is fax or email this over. And you'll see on the bottom portion of the page, there's a little box where you can put an email address or a fax number for them to return. Obviously, time is of the essence. I've used this document numerous times with other wholesalers for co-wholesaling deals. Again, it's very non-intimidating, very flexible, so I highly recommend using it to test the waters as far as pricing and getting things done very quickly. You will have to follow up with this document with a standard and purchase and sale agreement once you get a buyer in line, because your buyer, you're going to have them sign a standard and purchase agreement, not a flex option, but a standard purchase and sale agreement, which I have covered in another lesson. Once you do have that buyer, you want to go ahead and get a purchase and sale agreement signed, a formal one signed with your seller, and you can fax those over to your title company or real estate attorney to go ahead and do a title search, just to make sure there's not going to be any kind of title issues and set up time for closing. So that's the lesson covering the flex option. I'm going to leave a blank copy of the agreement below this particular lecture. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions, please feel free to go ahead and message me. I'm more than happy to help. Until then.